Hello, and welcome to today's presentation on Operationalizing Kaizen. I'm going to give you a walkthrough of the Impruver model, and you'll see how it not only helps develop people, but also produces superior business results through process improvement using Lean Six Sigma and operational excellence. For any organization embarking on the journey of operational excellence, there are three gaps that they must overcome in order to create a Kaizen culture. The first gap is a knowledge gap. This is people really just not knowing what excellence looks like. They've never worked in a company that had a lean culture, an OpEx culture, and they just don't know which way to go or what that looks like. The second gap is a skills or behavior gap. And this is where people lack the discipline to improve in a systematic way. They don't think scientifically. They're used to reacting emotionally. They're used to playing the survival game versus the let's do what's in the best interest of the business, right, that you want with OpEx culture. And the third gap is a scale or culture gap, where you do have some improvement efforts, but they're usually disjointed, they're usually isolated. There's no cohesive effort to move everyone together, arms locked, in the right direction. So what the Impruver program does is it allows you to put on autopilot the program to develop people and develop processes in a systematic way and create the foundation for your organization to move toward operational excellence. It addresses these three gaps, the first one being the knowledge gap, by certifying everyone in your organization in Lean Six Sigma at the appropriate level for their level of responsibility. We have a white belt, yellow belt, green belt, black belt, and master black belt program. One thing to note is that our program is more focused, more weighted on lean, probably 80% lean and 20% Six Sigma. In fact, as you'll see in a later slide, there's a very heavy focus on week over week PDCA cycles. Right? And PDCA is foundational to the way we approach continuous improvement. The next part, to help develop the skills, the behavior, the discipline, we designate a master black belt to your account. And this master black belt helps your people to execute their project, help them tease out the key learnings from courses and things like that. We'll talk about that more in just a moment. And we have a world-class technology-enabled system, both a learning management platform where the courses are delivered. People have to go through videos, there's content to read, there's quizzes, there's tests and everything else to validate that they've learned what they're supposed to learn. But there's also a Kaizen management platform or project management platform where they have the tools they need. In fact, all the tools are centralized in one seamless platform, and they have everything they need to progress through projects, but also capture the body of evidence to prove out certification when the time is right. So let me give you an overview of how the Impruver program works, and there's nothing else like it out there available. Impruver is designed to operationalize Lean Six Sigma within your company, and it works on a quarterly cycle basis. So let me explain what that means. So every program runs for about 12 weeks, and then there's a 13th week for prep, organizing, and getting the next cohort up and going. So it works in cohorts. And what happens in week 0 is you would staff a cohort of 3 to 5 people to go through the program, and they would begin both their coursework and their project at the same time, even if they haven't even been basic training for Lean Six Sigma or white belt trained at all for Lean Six Sigma, right? And they go through week over week with the help of a coach. And what they do each week is, one, they review the coursework. Hey, what are the key points? What did you understand? How do you apply these concepts in your specific area of responsibility, right? The next thing they do is they start by setting a goal up top in the first week or two. And then each week they would make one improvement toward that goal. And in a sense, they're making one PDCA cycle toward that goal. They capture a data point, they make an improvement, and then they come to the weekly coaching session to discuss What's your goal? What's the current state? What'd you do last and what you learned from it? What are you going to do next? Very similar to a Toyota Kata style of coaching, but the idea is to reinforce scientific thinking, reinforce PDCA thinking, and then after 10 weeks, more or less, they will have completed the project requirement for Green Belt certification. So the first 2 weeks is white belt. The next 4 weeks, they'll be going through yellow belt courses. The next 3 weeks, they'll be going through green belt. And then the last 2 weeks is prepping for delivering that report out to the leadership team. In that report out, which Impruver automatically creates the leadership report for them. They may have to add some before and after photos and some other data points. But in that report out, they're delivering, hey, here's the results we delivered. Here's the story of the improvement journey in photos, not just in words. And of course, there is a finance validated business impact calculation that goes in that report as well. So you can see the true impact that is made on the organization. After that 12 or 13 week cycle, you would essentially staff up the next cohort of green belts. We'd repeat the cycle. Toward the end of the next quarter, there's another delivery of results out to the leadership team. Very systematic, extremely effective. I'll show you some of the results that other companies are seeing in just a moment, but here are some of the key program deliverables. 3 to 5 certified Lean Six Sigma green belts per quarter, $150,000 to $250,000 in finance validated business impact per quarter. Ongoing ownership for continuous improvement and sustainment per green belt and per project. So we'll talk more about this in a moment, but in short, whatever metric, whatever business result they generated, we have the ability to integrate with your data systems to ensure that it's sustaining. And if it's not, it will trigger an automatic follow-up to keep that person in the continuous improvement cycle, to keep that project from backsliding and ensure that it sustains over time. So just a quick summary of the type of business impact that you can expect, right? We typically see about $1 million a year. It may vary for your company depending on the size of opportunity, how fast you go, and so forth. There are a few different engagement models that I'll show you in just a moment. But let's say you're going at a pretty standard pace, right? You're doing 3 to 5 candidates per cohort. Each candidate is delivering about $80,000 in annual business impact. Again, finance validated. You'll see 240 in cohort 1. This is same as Q1, 240 in cohort 2, 240 from cohort 3, 240 from cohort 4 for an annual business impact of just short of $1 million. Again, we see in some cases a lot more than that. In some cases, just slightly below that, but this is probably a reasonable expectation depending on your operating model. For those going into the black belt program, you can expect a bigger impact, more like $500,000 a year. And those delivering master black belt certifications are looking at about $1.2 million per year. Just something to keep in mind, successful candidates continue to deliver impact long beyond certification. So I just wanted to show you what some of our other customers are doing, right? You see Baha Mar, it's a hotel resort organization in Bahamas. They've delivered 1.2 million in business impact in just 12 weeks. You see MFALS, or Motivational Fulfillment Logistics Services. They delivered just recently. They've done a few cohorts already, but in the most recent cohort, they delivered almost $500,000 in just 12 weeks. One of our longest standing customers, Brook & Whittle, is delivering about $1 million year over year since they started with us several years ago. And you can see a ton of other organizations, and this list isn't even complete, who absolutely love the program, and they are generating results that they could not have otherwise imagined. Some of the industries that are using the Impruver system are manufacturing, logistics, warehousing, distribution, healthcare, and universities. We do offer all 5 levels of certification, starting with white belt to yellow to green to black to master black belt. Our white belt program provides a theoretical understanding of Lean and Six Sigma, where it comes from, what's the difference, basic overview of the Toyota production system and the TPS house. The yellow belt program dives into some basic tools that you can apply without being part of a larger project, just things you can go out and do. The green belt program gets into some more advanced tools, but it does require the execution of a project. Our black belt program gets into some advanced project management tools and capabilities and systems where you're impacting multiple departments, multiple functions, etc. In our Master Black Belt program, now you're working at the executive level with the leadership team, helping to develop, deploy strategy, and ensure that all the project work that's being done as part of the other belt levels are contributing to what's most important for the business to improve. Green, Black, and Master Black do require the execution of a project where you deliver a measurable benefit to the business. And of course, that is validated by your internal finance team. A little bit more about our certification program. It is considered a premium plan where both of our founders are Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belts. We've applied Lean Six Sigma for over 50 combined years at some of the world's leading companies, including Nestle, Mars, Clorox, Tyson, Ford, Walmart, Google, Randstad, Colgate, and several others. Our certification is globally recognized and third-party verifiable. It's got a QR code where anybody can just quickly scan and find out more to validate the certifications for those who have achieved them. We are the authors of an Amazon best-selling book. It's called Fit, The Simple Science of Achieving Strategic Goals. And I myself, founder and CEO, am a degreed industrial engineer, and both of us are MBAs. What makes our system especially powerful and significant is that we not only certify you and provide courses and provide training and support with projects, but we also maintain a portfolio of your achievement in Lean Six Sigma through our Impruver platform. That not only includes which certificates you earn, courses completed, goals achieved, tools used, projects completed, but also results generated. Here's a quick snapshot of our certification. Like I said, it includes a QR code that anyone can quickly scan and validate who received the certificate, who was the instructor, what courses were included, and they can download an official copy of your certificate. We have a few easy implementation models that you can select from, right? Like I said, we staff a dedicated Master Black Belt to your account. They will either service your teams in a passive mode where you just announce that, hey, we have a system out there. If you're interested in becoming Lean Six Sigma certified, here's a button, go and sign up, and then we'll get them enrolled and started in the program. There is a paced approach where you run essentially one cohort of 3 to 5 people every single quarter indefinitely, and the system will produce not only certified candidates or certified Lean Six Sigma practitioners, but also business results in the process. We also have a scaled approach that is implemented in 3 phases. In phase 1, you're sending the first person through, and ultimately they'll become a Master Black Belt, right? But first they go through the Green Belt program where they get trained on white, yellow, and green. They complete their project. Then they go into the Black Belt program where they coach 3 green belts behind them, right? And they take them through the same process. They're learning to be a coach. Third phase, they become a Master Black Belt where they coach 3 black belts through, and those black belts each coach 3 green belts through. So you have a 1-3-9 ratio. And then from there, you've got a strong enough foundation that you've built the skills to not only coach, but certify autonomously and internally. And then you can continue to go with the rest of the workforce or whoever else you'd like to put through the program. Some companies do start with 3 green belts in the first phase and then expand from there. A lot of companies are requiring that everybody be at least white belt and potentially yellow belt certified. A few common use cases. We're seeing organizations better integrate and partner with other functions within the organization, such as HR, to help spread the Kaizen culture throughout the organization, right? This first one here is to certify all frontline leaders at the green belt level. We're seeing that being a more common practice. The second one here is to include white belt certification in all new hire orientation. So as people get onboarded into the company, white belt certification becomes part of that package. The third option here is to require at least green belt level certification for all promotions over a certain grade level. It's just an idea that we're starting to see more widely adopted across our existing customer base. Fourth option here is to require green belt certification for bonus eligibility, right? And this one really generates a lot of steam and a lot of interest. In fact, this program produces such a significant business impact that it has the potential to pay for the company's bonus program in itself. So I mentioned before that we have a powerful Kaizen or project management platform that centralizes all your projects, your goals, your tools, your action items, and everything else into one platform. And by centralizing these things, again, projects, goals, tools, training, and all your improvements in one platform, it allows us to automate a lot of these other things, such as project assignments, training, reporting results, coaching, escalations, follow-up, knowledge management, and rewards and recognition. These are things that if you had a full-time continuous improvement leader, they would be doing all this manually. We have a system that does all this automatically, and this is empowered by centralizing some of these other key elements. With that said, though, I want to focus in on project assignments. What typically happens when people earn their Lean Six Sigma green belt or any other type of certification is they get their piece of paper, they check the box, they walk out of the room, and they go right back to business as usual. How do you keep them engaged in driving projects, using data to drive improvement, and so forth? We have a really neat system that integrates with your BI that keeps track of whatever metric or whatever goal they delivered. And if that metric drops below the acceptable range, it'll automatically trigger whatever tool is appropriate to address that issue, such as 5 Whys in this example. So it'll send them the 5 Whys training, the tool itself, it'll create the tool, the project inside the project system. It'll AI coach them through the proper use and application of that tool. It'll deliver rewards automatically once they achieve success. It'll automatically process follow-ups as you approach deadlines. It'll automatically escalate if people are overdue on delivering. And lastly, it'll create a report that goes to leadership for a success story or job well done. This integration with your BI system, Power BI, for example, takes about 3 minutes to set up. There is no IT support required. Very seamless, very simple, very effective way to maintain and sustain continuous improvement activity. The system will also tabulate results and metrics based on the performance and level of engagement that you're getting from your teams for your Lean program. So it's essentially tracking the health of your Lean program within your company. On the top line is showing a business impact contributed. And again, this is finance validated by your internal finance team. The next line, it's telling you the amount of activity. So for each improvement, it's showing you almost the health of your CI culture. Are we seeing more improvement, less improvement over time, et cetera? What can we do to stimulate more activity? And you can customize other metrics that you like to see, like projects, number of projects across the company, who's assigned to a project, who's not assigned to a project, whatever you feel is necessary to help build your Kaizen culture. And the last thing I'll mention is a little bit about pricing. The cost of this system is less than 1/5 of the cost of a full-time Lean employee, especially a master black belt level professional. If you were to pull up the data on salary.com or some similar platform, it'll tell you that you're going to pay about $200,000 plus benefits for a full-time Lean Six Sigma employee. This is having someone manually try to recreate what the Impruver system is doing. Probably not so well because they don't have the platform to automate a lot of the work necessary to achieve this. On the other hand, the Impruver system generates 5 times better results, and I think 5 times is being very conservative, at 1/5 of the cost of a full-time employee. So just imagine hiring 5 people to do what Impruver does practically automatically. And the Impruver system is proven time and time to work again. And as we make improvements to the Impruver system, it only generates better results within your organization. There's a lot of power in the networking aspect that Impruver brings. One thing I'll also note is that there are federal and state research and development and workforce development tax credits that apply. Some customers are able to claim tax credits for 100% of Impruver fees. This practically renders the entire Impruver system absolutely free. The last thing I'll mention is that the Impruver system is available on a month-to-month subscription basis, no contract required. That concludes my presentation. I really appreciate your time. If you're interested in learning more about our system, check us out at Impruver.com. That's Impruver.com. You can learn more about our university at university.improver.com, or you can email me directly at calvin.williams@improver.com. Otherwise, have an incredible week. Let's get better every day. Thank you.